Welcome to Let's Know Buffalo. My guest today is John Mikulec.
Mikulec. Close enough.
I'm trying, man.
I know, it's all good.
From Gameday Hospitality.
Yep.
So thanks for coming in. Now, I've been following you on social media the last few years and just seeing this thing snowball and kind of admired it from afar because, you know, being an entrepreneur at heart, like seeing something grow what I would think was more organically. Maybe you've got a different story, but how did you get into doing this stuff and like what triggered it?
So I started my first company when I was 16, building cornhole boards in my parents' garage.
Nice.
And then that just like was one of those things that just blew up at that time, like back in that era. And like that was like the heart of cornhole, like growing and everything. And so I graduated high school with employees, a warehouse, all this stuff.
That's incredible.
Was always dreamed of like being an architect and designing stadiums and stuff. Was about to go to college, dropped out.
How were you selling them?
Online, all over the place. I mean, we'd built it up from a core business, built a whole online site, all that stuff, building cornhole boards. I mean,
That's
thousands of
impressive,
cornhole sets a year. Employees were like my friends that were working part-time, like, but had a warehouse and all stuff.
I hear that so often. I actually just had a conversation with my friend Colin, who owns the custom controllers, right?
Yeah.
And he's talking about, you know, opening up another warehouse in Florida. And, you know, we're just kicking around ideas. He's like, what would I do with it for employees? I'm like, dude, there's plenty of people that work. He's like, I know, but these guys are all my friends.
Yeah. Well, it's hard when you have to start hiring people you don't know and you don't trust. But like, no, like my high school was like semesters. And so I had like 2 classes my last semester of high school.
Okay.
And so I had like 2 AP classes. I like made the stupid mistake of doing like AP English and AP Calculus and then running a company. So I would just be sitting there thinking the whole time, not caring about school, and then to go leave at 11 a.m. and go have a warehouse with employees and stuff. So
I think that's more common with entrepreneurs than not, right? Like for me, like high school and college, I was just like, I couldn't wait to get out and be done so I could go work.
My frustrating thing was like those type of classes when they're like, you're in AP English and you're doing arts and crafts and stuff in class. And then she goes like, go read this whole thing and write a paper and do this. It's like, why don't we do this stuff here? We're at school. Let's learn here.
Right,
it's like, I'll get something instantly once you tell me, but
I got a company to go home and run.
But it was crazy because it's like regular English or whatever I took the year before. I got like a 99 and was sitting there like bored out of my mind. So it's like, you're just like, whatever, let's do this, which was stupid. But no, dropped out of school, was actually going to go to UB potentially, and dropped out like 2 months before going because I'm like, I'm not going to risk what I'm building here. And eventually sold the cornhole manufacturing to one of my competitors, and I started Tailgategiant.com. So we sold everything for tailgating: tents, chairs, tables, games, all that stuff.
Now, were you building the website and everything like that? Oh, nice.
There wasn't a single aspect of that company that like I didn't know how to run. Like I didn't want anybody to not know how to do something. So I mean, the full coding, the website, built everything out from scratch. Also, it was like my quote unquote college years. Like I was living at home, built it, grinded all the time, reinvested like every dollar into it. Instead of going to college, I was just like building up this business. And eventually started Man Cave Giant as well, because the same suppliers had all the game room, man cave, furniture stuff. So we had both of those sites. So that kind of grew, got to where it was. And 2016 just kept getting asked to sponsor all these tailgate events and things with Tailgate Giant. I'm like, I could do this so much better. So it was week 1, 2016. We sponsored this tailgate in Baltimore. The Bills opened the season at Baltimore, and it was a Ravens like tailgate there. And I'm like looking around, I'm like, I could do this so much better. 4 days later, the Bills play Thursday Night Football for the home opener. I'm at my uncle's house here in Orchard Park, and I'm like I think I'm going to create like the biggest tailgate experience in Buffalo. I'm like, if there's this market for this, nobody's doing it. All the people coming back to Buffalo over the years, all the Canadians, all these people, I'm like, I think there's a market for it. And he goes, I'm in. So he was the first investor in it. Like a week later, my mom's brother, other side uncle, butt dials me like out west on a work trip, and we're sitting there and we're talking, and like he's like, what's new? I'm like, oh, Chris and I are starting this company. We're gonna do these tailgate things. And he lived in Charlotte at the time. He's like, can we do Carolina? So that's how we started with Buffalo and Carolina. Was uncle on either side of the family, put some money in. We kind of built up the tailgate thing. Now, what our original idea was is nothing like what it's like today. So started like that, just kind of grew. Eventually we got into like realizing there was money in like the neutral site college games that first year, and like Bama playing Florida State in Atlanta and like those type of games. So really got into
because what's going on, that like the fans are just coming into town to go to the game.
Nobody knows where to go.
Whereas if you went to their stadium,
exactly,
it's a culture, right? Like
so like the first year we ended up doing like Buffalo, Carolina, and then we did like all these neutral site games. We did like the Carolina kickoff games, all those Labor Day kickoff games, the ACC SEC championship, the Peach Bowl, like some of these bowl games, national championship. Like we realized the college side of things could work as well. So, and then it's just kind of grown over the years. And obviously COVID hit, 19 months of no events. Everything kind of burned my life savings, grinded, figured out side gigs and stuff to keep everything around, tried to keep employees and stuff around, but you can't, like, and then kind of had to like go back to basics and rebuild. So 2021, we went back to like Buffalo, Carolina, and a couple college events because you couldn't just invest all this money into marketing and producing an event, and then like the city, whatever city you're in, could decide, up no more events over 50 people today.
Yeah, not only that, like people were just freaked out. Like I know our habits changed so much, not only through COVID, but on the other side of it, it was like, like we became more homebodies and just didn't do as many activities. Now, over the years, it's continued to change, but I enjoy being at home a little more the older I get. So it's, I mean, people's habits definitely changed.
For sure. And I mean, it took a little while there for things to kind of get back to normal. And then we kind of, 2022 went back into the growth phase. And like I had bought out, like I went back to 100% ownership in February 2020. Okay. So right before everything shut down. So like I took on all the risk, all the debt, all whatever was going on, because we were doing pretty well at that point, but we were reinvesting every dollar running up to 2020. We were growing, but there wasn't like profit sitting around. Sure. And when you're in this business, there's a lot of money flowing through. So all those expenses that are month to month that happen no matter what are just a part of the flow of everything.
What you're saying there is super important to understand, is that like when you're building a business, like you're not just going out and writing yourself a fat paycheck and buying brand new cars and houses and stuff like that. You're continuing to reinvest, and now you're seeing the fruits of your labor, probably, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, even the first 3-4 years at Game Day, I was doing other things on the side. I was like door dashing, doing whatever to make money to like pay bills and just reinvesting. Right. Like, I was all in on making things happen. I was like, anything you could do to go out and like actually find ways to make money on the side and doing things to try to keep growing and pushing it. And didn't, like I said, like even to this day, don't pay myself what I should pay myself salary wise, but like it's grown to a way bigger point now, but we're now in a completely different phase of growth. But the getting to that point and then having everything shut down and then having to like kind of go back to rebuild. And now we kind of got back into the growth phase, all these different partnerships and stuff. So like this past year, we did about 150 events around the country. Wow. This year we'll do about 240. Just put in perspective,
literally one every other day.
It's more.
Well, 240 is even more. Like
so I mean, it's 240. I mean, but there's days.
How are your airline miles?
they're pretty. I mean, I'm in the highest level American, second highest Delta. Like I'm doing okay. I think I hit Marriott Titanium for this year already. My wife talks about it all the time. She travels a lot for work, and she's always looking, to hit those certain points with Delta to make sure that she's, keeping her status. And I'm like, yeah, I mean the Marriott from like mid-February to like I think still another week from now is double nights. Yeah. So like I give her credit. When we go on vacation, we're staying wherever we're staying. I think we're going to Vegas and we're not paying anything for 2 nights. So I think I've actually stayed like 40 something nights this year so far, but it's like 79 because it's been like double nights and all the bonuses from your credit card and everything. So like you used to work so hard to try to get to 75 nights to get Titanium, and now it's like it's not even May yet. Great problem to have, yeah. And I'm already like picking like which like reward you want, which is what most people are picking in like December. Sure, so no, it's definitely like the benefits of travel and stuff like that, and that's where you can kind of like right now like in the off season we're still working, grinding on a million different things, but like if I decided like, oh, I'm gonna go to Europe tomorrow, you could, because like, you have enough miles and points and everything to go anywhere you want to go. And sometimes you get so caught up in trying to earn that stuff that you don't want to use your miles because it doesn't earn you any more stuff. So then you're just sitting on all this the miles or stuff, or you wait to use them on somebody else. I've got a buddy that uses his credit card for work, all distribution, right? And he refuses to spend any of his rewards until he can buy a car with it. And like 6 months ago, it was over $50,000 in reward. I'm like, dude, do something with that money. It's just sitting there. Even if you put it into a savings account at 4%, right? But he's... Well, like Dave Portnoy from Barstool's multiple times mentioned it. He's never used an Amex point ever. He's like, I never will. I just want to see that number just keep going up. He's like, it's a game. God. The guy probably has like $10 million in Amex points. That's fuck you money. Because he had like the like I think he said at one point, like when he was starting Barstool, it was like everything was in his name. So every employee card for like until they really got bought out was just racking up points. So somewhere he has like probably like $10 million in credit card points. And I remember he was like, a couple of years ago popped up where he was like buying something and it was like, oh, would you like to use your Amex points? And like he's like, no. He's like, and she's like, I don't know wherever it was, like the credit card reader told you can use Amex points. She's like, well, you have a lot of points. You can probably go on a nice trip. And it's like he's like, I'm pretty sure I could like buy this place. Right. Like, but no, there's like some people just don't use their points or weight. But no, it is. I mean, it's a grind, obviously, in the travel side of things. But
have you had any pushback from any of the teams or stadiums or any issues with, or they have been kind of welcoming with open arms?
I mean, within reason. I mean, we've had some shaky relationships, but a lot of places we're on. Almost everywhere we're on private property.
Okay.
So we find private property close to the stadiums. We prefer that over partnering with the teams. When you partner with the team, you're giving a huge amount of revenue. Yep. You can't use outside sponsors. So you have to use the team sponsors. And like when you're using, like the team sponsors aren't going to want to pony up any more money when they know you have to use them. So for us, being across the street and being like as close as possible, but being on private property, we pull all the liquor permit. I mean, these are fully produced events. This isn't just like meet us in this corner of the parking lot. We have a grill going. These are like in Buffalo here, it's about 2,200 people a game on the high end. We have security, we have shipping container bars, we have a stage, we have a live band. Like we built up like the place to kind of be. I mean, our whole goal was how do you get 1%, 2%, 3% of the stadium? We're not trying to like disrupt the people that have been tailgating in the same spot for 40 years. We're trying to create like a hassle-free environment, a cool spot for that 1, 2, 3. You get 3% of the stadium, it's 2,200 people.
Like myself, who I'm not a hardcore tailgate guy, right? But when I go there, I'm saying hi to friends, having a beer, having some food here and there. Where I just go to yours and one-time fee and you get everything. I don't have to bring anything. I don't have to clean everything up. When I'm done, I walk into the stadium and I'm happy.
Yeah, I mean, you just show up. I mean, it's as easy as it could possibly be. And then, I mean, we do stuff all the way up to like the corporate produced hospitality, like sections. Like last year we had FanDuel. They had like a whole FanDuel lounge, like leather furniture, private bar, private everything. Like we can do different things for like scale it up to a group, whether you're one person or whether you're 1,000 people. Like last year for the Ravens-Bills playoff game, we host a lot of the away groups and things like that. And people are always like, why the hell are you hosting the Ravens fans to the playoffs? It's like, well, we go to these cities and we need their help. Like when Bills go, and people don't realize when the Bills go to invade places, like people think in like Miami, like elbow rooms at Bills bar. No, it's just a bar in Fort Lauderdale that the Bills fans take over every year. Like, like a couple of years ago, that playoff game against the Steelers, like the Steelers fans were going to meet at Riverworks, like the Steelers, and people were like, boycott Riverworks.
They were freaking out.
And it's like, we go invade all these other places they're not Bills bars that we go to invade. They're places that we go invade.
I love Buffalo, but we're very sensitive on certain things sometimes.
And it's like, let them spend tax, like let them spend money, create revenue, like help these places. Like these are businesses, the economy, these are businesses that need help. And that ended up being the weekend we got like the 6 feet of snow or whatever, not 6 feet, but we got all that snow and they moved the game to Monday, that playoff game. So that event never even happened. So you never got to see what the backlash was. But like people don't realize that like we had 800 Ravens fans for that playoff game in a fully separate section of the parking lot. People are like, why the hell are you hosting the Ravens? It's like, first of all, we're a business and you're not going to get a lot of revenue.
Their money looks just like your money.
And like we need those relationships when we go play in Baltimore, when we need help, and like they don't realize how it's like a community of these people. And for the most part, most of the people in this world get along. We all know each other. Like there's only so many people in this like tailgate hospitality world, travel world, and it's all about relationships. And you know everybody, and everybody kind of calls around and knows each other. So like if you screw over one person or do something, like it gets around quick. So it's like keeping track of all that stuff. But like. So we can host a group for 1,000 that's completely separate, or we could host like one person if you're just coming out of town. Like nobody wants to like be the two people that flew into town for the game eating like subs behind their rental car with like the case of beer they bought. Like you want to go like be a part of an experience, and we have all these like live bands, player appearances, like giveaways, all this stuff. Like we've created an energy around it, and it's only going to keep getting bigger and better. And we just partnered up with Sean Merriman, former Bill and Charger. His media company, Lights Out Productions. So we're going to be doing live tailgate shows from all of our cities every home game. So we'll have multiple like former players from the team hosting a live 1-hour show. It'll be like in a corner of the tailgate showcasing what we're doing, but they'll go around and film all over the tailgate lots.
It's so cool how accessible all this is with, right? Just doing a podcast or doing a live taping or, a live show from the middle of a parking lot, middle of nowhere with the technology.
I mean, they have a full like production company that's going to do it, but they're still using like a Starlink. Right. Like Starlinks are the greatest thing for the event. I know people don't like Elon right now, but like the Starlinks are like insane. Like for us, like we have one in Buffalo because the cell service goes to shit. Like the cell service just stops working around.
Crazy there.
And like we need to be able to connect, but also like we have a basic Starlink you can go buy at Best Buy. In that parking lot, we'll have 20 TV streaming. We'll have our staff use. Now that password's never getting out, because if all of a sudden if like 2,000 people are trying to log into the Wi-Fi, it's not going to work. Like I like my employees, I'm like, give me your phone, I'll type it in, because I'm like, I don't want like, you don't want too many people like bogging it down, but like still you can run like 20 TVs. Trainwreck Sports did a live show from the tailgate off our thing while TVs were streaming all this. Like the internet, in like you can build out those spaces. And
I gotta look into that. I live a little bit out into the country, not too far, and the internet's just brutal. And like I built a man cave in my basement. I got like 8 TVs down there, and like we're trying to stream, and it's terrible.
They're pretty good. I mean, it's like $130 a month. Like it's a little bit higher than like your normal internet, but like
I just want it to work.
You can literally take it and you could be in the middle of like Nebraska in a cornfield with a generator and put it out there and you have internet.
Yeah. It's cool about my Escalade. It's got Wi-Fi. Like I pay for it, right? It's an all-in package, media package. But for me, being a real estate agent and being on the road, it's like a mobile office. I just plop my laptop in. I'm always connected to it. And again, I need that access, right?
Oh, it's like, I mean, when I switched from like years ago, switched to like the cellular iPad, like the difference of like having to like find Wi-Fi versus everywhere you go, your iPad works. Like that little bit of just like convenience like saves a lot. But no, we tried them out last year, and like these Starlinks are great and they're portable. Like we can throw them in like a suitcase and take them to a random event we're doing. Awesome. Like we're actually mounting the one here because it was one of those things where we have in Buffalo, we have that property. Like there's the house that like there's a lot of stuff there. Somebody lives in the house, like it's fully separate. We have like half the parking lot there next to O'Neill's. We have the 2-car garage, but there's no like Verizon didn't run internet to the garage.
Sure.
So we'd have to go pay this fee for them to go run all this stuff. And then somebody just mentioned like, why don't you just get a Starlink? And we tried it and we're like, oh, like this works perfectly. Awesome. And it's better than your cell service and stuff like when everything goes to shit. So you learn and adapt. Like there's a lot of random things that you never would have thought were useful.
Yeah, things that you don't know or you didn't know that you'd know about, you do now.
Yeah, and when like Sunday Ticket for NFL went to YouTube TV, it made things a lot easier. It used to be we'd have to like set up satellites and stuff to get all the games and stuff for the TVs. Right. Now it's just like you can log into one YouTube TV account and every TV in the place is running games.
Every time in my basement, like again, I get 5 or 6 TVs going, and all Prime Video. Like Thursday night, I'll have the guys over for cards, poker. And then it's like, you've signed into too many TVs. And I'm like, no, I haven't.
There are like limits on certain things. The crazy thing is like Sunday Ticket used to be on DirecTV. You could only like log in mobily on one screen.
Right.
Now it's unlimited screens if you have like the Reddit, whatever YouTube account. But the Red Zone is only allowed on 3 TVs. So you'll realize like there'll be like, you'll have all these group tents going that bought a private TV or whatever. And they'll be like, why can't I watch Red Zone? It's like, well, 3 other people. Right. It's like you can flip on whatever game you want, or the you can put a 4 box onto the 4 best games. Like, but like, yeah, there's little limitations to it. And like we used to be with the ESPN Plus logins too. You'd go log in and we'd be using it on like in a venue we'd rent for a big event. We'd have like 7 TVs going for a college football game, and you'd try to log into all of them to like use ESPN Plus, and like you get to the 5th TV and they're like, yeah, you've connected too many. It's like, okay, let's sign up for another $8 a month account real quick, like so we can keep these things going. So yeah, the logins and stuff like that you learn, but no, it's just been a growth process. I mean, so we've tried to take what we built in Buffalo and then try to replicate it in these other cities.
I've seen some other. I've had Del Reed on from 26 Shirts, and he's gone to other cities. And has there been a struggle to get into other cities and have the same kind of growth as Buffalo, or do you see kind of it's reciprocal because you're choosing places that have good tailgates or are used to get?
There's nothing like Orchard Park. Like there's nothing like Orchard Park. There's like these other cities will never be what Buffalo is. And like even with the new stadium, it'll be interesting to see how like things adjust when you lose some of the people and stuff like that. We're trying to find ways to like create. I think we might start doing like during game, like keep it open cash bar, keep like a third of the tailgate open, like after the game, do things for when people can't afford the PSLs and stuff like that, but still want to go tailgate.
Well, and again, I know that Buffalo, like I remember my dad in the 90s going to the Bills playoff games and, coming home drunk and, and then, from the late 90s to just a couple of years ago, like Buffalo football was just so bad. And I don't know if it was like a springboard for the extra chaos and craziness of the tailgates in Buffalo, or has it just been status quo like the whole time?
I mean, I actually think like the craziness, like the stupid shit that Bills fans doing is honestly kind of dying down.
Sure.
I think like the excitement and energy is growing, but like like we get away fans that come to Buffalo and they come to the tailgate like, when do we get to break a table? And they think like every single person, they think like they see one person on Barstool go through a table on fire, and they think like every single person's breaking a table, and it's like, no, could you please not like buy a $65 ticket and break our $100 table and make my insurance agent like want to kill me, like we literally in our like event insurance clause it says like you cannot allow break like they're as strict as possible. Like
every time I see the video of the dude jumping off the bus and like missing the table, I'm like, oh, please don't do that.
It's just like, I get it. It was something that was like a trend there, and like, but it just like died down so much. Like people literally think it's all we do here,
right?
And it sucks that like Bill's Mafia, like you mentioned, Dell Leslie Bray, like created this like thing that was a charitable energy and all this stuff, and it gets associated with like Bill's Mafia. We're going through like, it's like, no, like it's more about like the family aspect of the fan base and how like we care and like take care of people and like all the charitable efforts. And it sucks that like gets brought down to like how many tables have you gone through, and it's like 0. Like, and we hate it. Like when you're doing these events and stuff, you can't have the liability. Like God forbid somebody gets like literally hurt.
When you're a business owner and you're paying that insurance, like somebody could step on a rock and break their ankle, and all of a sudden you're getting sued because it was your event that they paid to be at. And
our like event clause is like this long now, like of all like but still that doesn't, like, people can still like drag you into court and do all this stuff, and it's like somebody being an idiot and damaging our property can like, and then they sue us, and it's like
when I had my video game stores, we used to do birthday parties for kids, screens all set up, neon lights, super cool, right? One time, and I have the video on camera, right? Like this woman sits on the chair and it snaps and she falls onto the ground. She was far too large for this chair. Yeah. Right? Like it was built for like
kids.
Yeah. Even people that weren't as large as her, and I'm not trying to be insensitive, but bro, when I tell you she blackmailed me for weeks, like, oh, I'm gonna have to call my attorney, and I'm like, what do you want? Right? Like I gave her gift certificates, I refunded the money for the party, and I'm not trying to take blame for what happened, but I'm also not trying to get sued for something so stupid.
Yeah. No, I mean, there's a lot. I mean, the litigious nature of like some people, and like not even that, like on the litigious side, just the people that just won't like let you go. Like there's always that one like quote unquote Karen or whatever that like literally will not like, they like something tiny will go wrong, or like we'll run out of one food item when they got there the last 30 minutes of the event. They're like, there wasn't chicken fingers, and it's like they'll like, you're a scam, I'm gonna destroy you, all this stuff, and it's like they won't let you go. Like we had this one woman that like went to the wrong location and like claimed like it was our fault, we were scammed, that, or like the police officer on the street didn't even know you guys exist, you must be a scam. And it's like or we went to like the ticket office and they didn't know where it was, and it's like, read the directions, like the amount of people that just like, and then they're like,
help me help you,
and then but they'll just be like, I'm gonna make like my day job to destroying your company, make sure nobody else ever goes. It's like, we refunded you 20 minutes ago, can you like chill out? And like there's certain people that will just like we have these people that will just like reply like scam because they misread something or went to the wrong address or typed in something wrong, and it's like, but didn't reach out that day. Like we have people on live chat on, if they had like, hey, can't find it, we'll help you, like, that in the moment. Like the people that wait like 4 days later and they're like
complain,
and then they call their credit card company and
they're
like, they didn't have chicken fingers when I got there, I want my $500 back for I've got like 10 tickets.
PTSD from retail, because just I own 10 locations between my cell phone stores and video game stores over like a 15-year period, and you know, you get somebody upset over a $10 video game, and I'm just like, I'm tired of you yelling at me. Like, I'll do whatever it takes. But then even when I refunded your money, you're still not happy. Like, I know the customer's always right, but sometimes, man, I'll tell you, there was a lot of times that they weren't. And I remember one time, this woman was just unbearable. I came out of the back room. I was like, please leave. She's like, I want to talk to the manager. I said, well, even better, I'm the owner. Now get the fuck out of my store. And then she left, and I looked at my employees. I said, don't ever treat a customer like that. I said, leave it up to me. Like,
you have to be the bad guy sometimes. And like people don't understand. Like we do.
I don't
like,
want your business if that's how you're gonna act.
And like we do the all-inclusive events, like food and drinks. We can still, within reason, and we put it in like the terms, like if you're blatantly like overly served and drunk, we're still responsible for you. So like,
and now you understand why they do it at the stadium.
Oh yeah,
like they
where
kick you out.
They won't even let people in some of these games. Like
Right.
I was at the March Madness in Newark a couple weeks ago for like the Duke games, and like this kid in front of me, like this group of kids, they're like, oh, we got to go like get our buddies to sober up or they won't let us in, because this like kid was sober. And I was like, well, where's his seat? like maybe I'll buy his seat off him. I'm like if he can't get him in, I'm like, maybe I'll take his better seat. But I'm like, yeah, there's people like, because they're responsible. Like if you overly serve, like you're still like liquor permitted. So like even in an all inclusive setting, like we still have to like take care of, and people like don't understand. And that's why we stopped doing a lot of like some of these big like national championship things. Like when it was in Atlanta and it was Georgia, Bama, we did like a 5-hour pregame party. Then we did like the after pregame party, which was our watch party, but we couldn't say watch party. And so we had people that drank for 9 or 10 hours.
Yeah.
Like that becomes a problem. We've had a couple groups where maybe they're like if it's like a bus group that comes in from Canada, and like they have like a private group and everything, but they come in, they've been drinking for 3 hours straight on the bus, and then they come in, and it's like, okay, we got to make sure we like watch these guys control, because it's at the end of the day, it's still your responsibility. Right. We at least get the buffer of these people are now going to a game, where then they kind of get passed off to whoever the team is. Like,
not our problem anymore.
Because like they're gonna go drink in the stadium too. Like, so that's the one good thing about like our situation is 90% of the people just like, okay, you're across the street now. Sure. Like, right. But yeah, it's definitely a thing that we have to like watch when you're like doing the liquor side of things, and also like the responsible drinking aspects of things. When you have liquor sponsors and beer sponsors and things, there's certain things you can and can't post, like some of the stuff that goes viral and stuff. Like I'll get mad at my social team and be like, hey, why did we post like this? Like we now have X amount of dollars, and like liquor sponsorships don't want to lose those because we posted something that's like somebody's doing something stupid, drinking, or the gambling aspect. Once you get like a FanDuel, and like you can't post about people like losing their life on a parlay or something. Like there's like certain things where it's like, hey, like
it's so wild how different states are so different with their rules. And like, you know, if you're in New York State, you can't gamble here until you know.
Well, New York just proposed banning sports gambling ads during sports games on TV. Like
shocking.
Like, and like now, like if that passes, like these networks that are ESPN, like whatever, they're gonna have to like do a different feed for New York State that doesn't have the gambling ads. What's
gross to me, and I won't get into politics, but just like New York, like you thought it was so bad until you figured out, oh, look how much money we can make off of this, right?
And they have the highest taxes on gambling anywhere.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
and like, they just like these companies aren't making that much money here. Like there's very thin margins, because what they win and take in is taxed like 70% or something in New York. So like whatever the casino wins every month, I think 70% goes to the state.
Right.
And like you compare it to like, I think like New Jersey like realized they screwed up because they were the first ones to like do it. I think they were at like 30%, and they were trying to like slowly pass it to go back up. But like some of these states like that have now come on, and that's how a lot of them have been. Like North Carolina, I live in Charlotte now, born here, live in Charlotte now, but like North Carolina didn't get it till last year, and it was like and then they realized, okay, look at once all the other states have all this revenue coming in, they're like,
it's the same with like weed and cannabis and all that stuff. Like I've talked to a number of my acquaintances, friends that either are in the distribution or they own stores, and it's been a nightmare like rollout because just the red tape with the state and all the rules.
And the fact that it's still like federally illegal.
Sure.
Like you can't go get like open a bank account and put your weed money in there. You have to or you have to use a certain bank that allows it, or like a regional bank that or like these people have like vaults with cash.
I've heard that too.
Like it's like they literally have like cash, because that's like they collect all this cash, and then they, like their credit card readers are like ATMs, where it's like you're taking like a cash advance, you're not actually paying them, and then like they give you like your change out, and like some of these places you go, like
I remember, I think it was during COVID, like, and it was like the reservation, like you could go there and buy like a sticker, and they would give you like a blunt for free or something, right? Like
yeah, there's some dumb rules, and like again, when you cross state lines and different things, like everything's different. We deal with it with alcohol.
Sure.
All the different alcohol laws. Like we do a lot of stuff in like Atlanta. Like we do the SEC championship, we do the Peach Bowl, we do like all these events, Super Bowl, national. Like we don't do the Falcons because you can't serve a drink before 11:30 a.m. on a Sunday. It used to be 12:30. They took the time to change the law, did 11:30 when everybody else has gone to 10, 9.
Right.
So like if you're flying through the Atlanta airport, you can't get like a mimosa on a Sunday morning before 11:30.
That's wild. Because I think in New York,
It's 10.
Okay.
It's 10, but they have an early permit you could pull if you're a license holder like 5 times a year. That's 8 a.m.
I think I heard that when the Bills were playing over in London, like a lot
there
of
was
the
a
bars
delay.
Yeah.
And then, the governor decided like to blanketly like allow that one day because there was a backlog and it was like Thursday and a lot of these bars weren't told if they had their permit or not. And we deal with that a lot with the SLA here. Like when we pull these like permits, like our 1-day permits and things, I could pull the schedule come out. I could pull every single permit the day the schedule comes out. They won't issue our permits till the week of the event.
Well,
and there's sometimes we don't have like an actual permit till Thursday. It's coming. We've never been denied once. But like these people that run like huge fairs and festivals and stuff, like you might be like doing a multi-million-dollar festival and you don't know you have a liquor permit till the week of.
That's wild.
And like it used to be like pre-COVID, like before they like slashed a lot of their staff over there, like used to have a connection or somebody could like, hey, can I get my permit?
Yeah, get it pushed.
Can you get it pushed and like make sure this comes through? Because we deal with it where like every week we have 3 or 4 beer liquor distributors we deal with, and like they can't deliver until they get that. So we're like working on getting the full permit for the property now that we have like shipping container bars and stuff. I think we're just gonna like fully permit it. Cost more per year and insurance stuff like that, but like they can then deliver whenever. And like we don't have to deal with the week to week. We don't have to pull all these permits and guess what day the playoff game is going to be 15 days in advance. Like you have to pull them 15 days in advance. So like the Bills are going to make the playoffs. Now it could be like Saturday, Sunday, or Monday.
Right.
So you have to pull like every combination, and then you have to pull 2 weeks in advance. So you have to like prepare. Every year we're pulling AFC Championship and OP permits that haven't been used yet, obviously. So it's like, how could we like, it just makes everything streamlined. Then we can do more events and things throughout the year without having to do it. And, but then you go to like a Missouri or a Nevada where you can go buy a bottle of Jack Daniels in a liquor store or in a 7-Eleven in a gas station 24/7. Like there's certain places like the Missouri-Kansas line where Kansas doesn't sell alcohol on Sundays, has all these strict rules. And then like, but Missouri, you can like literally like Walmart sells Target, like some of these places, like same thing in Nevada. You can go into like CVS 24/7 and buy.
It's like us here going across the border when we're 19 to go to the clubs and bars over there to drink. Not that I did that. I'm just saying I heard people did that.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, no, like it's similar. Like just the different rules, different places, and like different states. Like places like Virginia and like North Carolina, until the last couple of years, you have to like have a charity involved to host a liquor, like a charity. Like you have to have a charity pull the permits and have a charitable partner, and then pay the charity to serve the alcohol and all this stuff to do an event. And like there's just all these old rules that have existed forever. And like North Carolina, happy hour is illegal. So if you do a drink special, it has to be all day long. You can do a daily special, but you can't do a happy hour special. So like at one point, our all-inclusive tailgate for the Panthers was like under pressure because they're like, technically you're breaking the happy hour law, because if somebody buys this package and they drink 6 drinks and somebody else drinks 7, you just sold those drinks at different prices. And it was this whole thing. So then they're like, you need to use drink tickets, this, that. So then I pushed back by being overly aggressive and gave everybody like 12 drink tickets. And like you'd have like a husband and wife show up and you're like, here's 24 drink tickets, and the wife would be like, I'm gonna have like 2 beers. And like
we know.
And then like after showing how ridiculous it was to like the alcohol law enforcement, they're like, okay, fine, go back to what you're doing. Because I'm like, every wedding venue in the States doing all-inclusive packages. The Panthers on their website, here's their all-inclusive package. Why can't we?
Sure.
And then they just like, okay, this is ridiculous. Go back to what you were doing. So
outside of Buffalo's tailgate, and I don't want to get you in trouble.
Yeah.
Who's got the next best thing closest to what we have?
Tailgating wise? Jeez.
Or just maybe just certain experiences that you had.
It's just a drop off. I mean, for us, our second biggest city is Pittsburgh.
Okay.
So like fan wise, energy
wise,
sure, like it's a similar. Like we pushed west. We tried doing a lot of the West Coast things. Some of them work, some of them don't. We realized like the Rust Belt, like is like that kind of vibes are so like the Buffaloes were Detroit's, Pittsburgh's. We tried Cincinnati. Cincinnati was a little bit harder, like of a market. We did Cincinnati for 2 years, and then 2 seasons ago, Joe Burrow gets hurt and everything. Like once Burrow was hurt, nobody cared again. Like it's just like it's just such an inconsistent basis. We just really couldn't get the home fans there. Like when a good away team was there, it was killing it. But like the Rust Belt type cities, the destination cities, the Vegases, the New Orleans, like those places that people want to go, are like is the other side of it. But like tailgating wise, I mean, like obviously Buffalo's here. I mean, it's tough to like. Then I mean,
I would assume
Kansas
it's got to be
City's
college, right? Like
college, I think is the closest to Buffalo. Like I think Buffalo is more of like the college town vibe, the houses and all this stuff going on. like some of those, like some of these SEC tailgates and Big Ten tailgates, I think are more similar than the NFL. Like people like put like Kansas City up there for tailgating, but they have this huge, expansive, massive parking lot that's all on the property, and it's like people barbecuing and stuff, but it's not like the same vibes as like having all the private lots. And nobody tailgates at 6, 7 a.m. like Buffalo does.
Right.
Like the sheer existence of all these private lots near the stadium has created that, where all these other places.
And I think that's obviously I know it's a little controversial, but that's gone in the past now a little bit, with the stadium just staying right across the street from where it was, right? Like all the talk about going downtown. Yeah. But as soon as you do that, you change everything that has been built with the tailgate experience.
And it's still going to change a little bit because everything's going to shift.
Yeah. And everything's
going to shift over.
I can sit here and argue either way. What's your take on the new stadium, how things are going to change for you, or is it really just going to be?
I think we'll be status quo. I mean, we have like a decent term lease on our space there. We're trying to like continue to like be more locked in there and make sure that like the Bills don't come in and try to like take over anything. But like we're just as close to the new stadium as we are the old stadium. We'll be on the same side of the road. Nobody has to cross the street anymore. Like we're in that closest property to both stadiums, and everything for the Bills fans wise is going to shift, because now you're going to have people parking on like the ECC side, and there'll be Bills parking lots over there, and a lot of like those 20A lots and further southwestern lots are now so much further from the stadium. Right. So everything's going to kind of shift. There's going to be people tailgating in Hamburg now, not just Orchard Park. Right. They're going to be on that over on the other side of that line. So it should be like traffic hopefully will be fixed, because there should be like ways to exit all four corners of the stadium finally, instead of having the creek on the one side of the stadium where it's everybody going the same way.
I've crossed that so many times.
Hopefully it's better. I mean, for us, I think it's a good situation. I mean, right now the construction's helped us a ton, because the Bills have had 2/5 less parking. People have been kind of pushed out further. The Bills haven't had any hospitality spaces, or the bus lots have been limited. I don't know if people know this, but like if you park a bus right now in the temporary bus lot, you can't have more than 12 people tailgating. They only allow 12 people to tailgate next to a bus because they don't have space to like put buses right now. It's a third of the size. So we've benefited from that temporary bus lot being right behind Prohibition, right across the street from us. And like we get a lot of these bus groups that we then sell private group tents to and things. We get all these Canadian groups where they park at the bus lot and they come over, and we have 50 people showing up. And so like the construction's been good for us, and like that will continue through the first season, because they're not going to tear down the old stadium until after the first season. Right. So you're going to have a full season with both stadiums next to each other, which would be cool for TV shots and stuff. But I think they're making sure everything's like, you don't want something to go wrong with the new stadium or not have a backup plan. And I think it'll be cool to have both. And I think we've already decided we're going to throw like a big tailgate watch party for if they decide to do an explosion to demo it all at once. I think we're going to do like a giant tailgate like watch party to say goodbye to the Ralph. Like that's going to be something that's going to happen.
As excited as I am for the new stadium, it's so nostalgic, right? Like to have that.
It's time though. It's been time, but like
no doubt,
it sucks. Like all the memories there. I'm not going to miss like shoving through a single doorway in and out. Right. Like my season tickets are in 117, like the lower level, and like there's one single door that's the entry and exit to the bathroom.
Brutal.
To the bathroom, like, and you're like shoving, like everybody's in snow gear. You're trying to shove by these guys that don't want to lose their spot in line to get out of there, and it's like
I've been to some games early in the season where it's just the polar opposite of what most people would think. Like you're freezing in the wintertime, right? But where it's been so hot, the sun beating on you, and you're dehydrated, and you go into the shade. You go into the hallway, and it's like humid and just you feel like you're in a sewer almost.
Yeah, I mean those concourses, and what was crazy about it, like they could, like when they proposed renovating the stadium, it was going to cost more to like fully actually modernize the stadium than to build a new one. Like they don't have a service level at the stadium. It's it's the only stadium in the NFL that doesn't have a service level. So like Delaware North doesn't even have kitchens on site. Yeah, like when you're acting like why the food's like, it's because they're like heating stuff up. Brutal. They can't make like actual from scratch food. They have to like heat stuff up, and they have to move everything through those same narrow concourses. There's no like service level underneath where they can move the food to all the concession stands. There's no service elevators. Like everything is moved through the same narrow concourse as everything. And that's what's limited. Like the current stadium doesn't even have their full liquor license. Only the club level does. Like there's things that the new stadium will then have. Like you're going to be able to buy a mixed drink anywhere in the stadium. You're going to be able to have the heated concourses, the wider, like the fact that you're going to be able to just go out like during halftime and go warm up for a little bit instead of sitting in this like wet dungeon like, where people are. And I think it's gonna be better for everybody. Like I think the new spaces, I'm interested to see how the vibe of like for now, right now, you have people that have like slowly moved their way up to like the 50-yard line, lower level, and like are allowed, and they've had these tickets in their family forever because they've been affordable.
Right.
Now that's club tickets
yeah.
in those between the 40s, and interesting to see what the energy is. But I think they've done a decent job of like the core like people fans. If you had a first row, offering people first rows and things. And
did you already do your experience and stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, I did it, but I think they completely botched the PSL thing, because I think they should have done what every other team ever has done. Like, here's the map, here's the pricing. Like the fact that it was a secret what like the upper level was, and then they released the first PSL and it was $50,000 each. People were like, I'm never gonna be able to afford. And now there's $2,500 PSLs and it's coming down. Sure. Like, it's gonna be affordable for people. And like these people that are picking their seats right now in the upper deck 50-yard line, their PSL is $2,500, but their actual season ticket costs, some of them are going down.
Really?
Like there's some sections that the season ticket cost is more expensive this year than it will be next year. Like, I think it's because now they're a 400 level or like whatever it is. But like, I think they scared a lot of people, and it was actually really bad PR. Because like, I don't know if they were just like trying to gauge how much people would pay before they created the next level,
which is kind of gross.
Which is real. I mean, when you bring in an outside firm to do it, and they don't really have any. I mean, they brought in people that don't care about Buffalo. You bring in people that are like essentially used car salesmen trying to push this on people, and then once everything's sold, you'll go back to having your nice local rep that like takes care of you year to year. But like, it's gonna be interesting to see how that works. But like, I think they scared a lot of people away with like what's going on here. Now everybody, once the price came back down, it's like, oh, this is I can afford this.
It's so cool to just drive there and see how quickly it's being, and like how big it is.
You can see it from so far. Like, you get on like 290 or you're on 90 and you can see it now coming from the city.
You used to be able to just see like the lights of the Ralph, right?
Yeah.
Like, and now like you see this monstrous.
And once it's all like fully built, I think it's gonna be pretty cool. I mean, now you have the steel topped off, but like once everything's like, once it looks like a stadium.
But the fact that it's less like a bowl and more like a, I don't know, like a cocoon or whatever you want. Like, you're gonna be closer to the field.
And people are gonna be happy because like right now, like we only get so many concerts and stuff because there's one tunnel in and out. And all these tours now are like 30, 40 semis worth of shit. And like nobody likes coming to Buffalo. And it's been like very clear because most stadiums have 2 or 3 tunnels. So it takes them 2.5 times longer to set up in Buffalo than other places, and to set up and break down. So that's why you get like, that's why you get like one concert a year, or you get like a Tuesday concert or something. Like when it's because nobody wants to deal with the one tunnel in and out. So once
you doing a country concert there, like in April,
they did Luke Combs two shows last year. Yeah. We did the tailgates and everything. It was like the second day, like first day was like a little cold. Second day was freezing.
Right. Wet, cold.
Luckily, my friend texted me like, "Hey, you want to come in the suite?" I'm like, I'm like, sure, yeah.
No.
But the night before was pretty chilly, and like we were in the club level, and they didn't turn the heaters on because they didn't want to ruin the lights for the production. And it's like you're sitting like 45 degrees for a concert, and like they're like, "Oh, we can't turn the heaters on because we don't want the red light to mess with the like." Oh, geez. And but yeah, that's because like that was the tour date. I mean, Luke Combs' tour was 2 shows in each city, Friday, Saturday. In every city, so he has the time to. It doesn't matter if it takes a little bit extra. It's like they're going somewhere the next week anyways. So, but yeah, that's a huge factor. The other thing is like the current field's not wide enough to actually host a real soccer game. The new one will be. So you're gonna get a lot of these ancillary events and other things going on throughout the year. You're gonna get like those international like friendlies, and I could see like the stadium hosting like a U.S. versus Canada soccer game or something, like, because how close it is to both. And like you're gonna get a lot of these ancillary events that you don't get currently that I think a lot of people are gonna like, even without the dome. There's just stuff. I mean, it's so crazy how much engagement we get. Like we'll post like an update, like aerial shot. One of my like friends is helicopter nurse, and she'll like fly over the stadium randomly and like get videos for us, and we'll post it, and they'll be like, no dome, this, that. But like it drives our engagement through. Like we'll get millions of impressions on people like bitching in the comments. Why are my tax dollars going towards this? Why isn't there a dome? Why isn't it downtown?
It's always the controversial or like the hot topic and the posts that get the most.
And the uneducated people that don't realize that Buffalo, dome or not, is never getting a Super Bowl.
Right.
Like the people that don't realize we have 4,500 hotel rooms.
Right.
In the city.
Where are people going to stay?
Indianapolis, a little bit bigger city, just tiny, big. 45,000 hotel rooms. Buffalo, 4,500.
Yeah, that's insane.
It's like these places, they don't realize that the Super Bowl is not a 70,000 person game. The Super Bowl is 500,000 people coming into your city.
Right.
And like you can't fit 500,000 people. Like there's cities like fringe cities like Cleveland's probably going to build this this domed stadium, they might not even get a like they're on that edge where it's like, do they have enough hotel rooms and stuff? Like, unless you're gonna come in the middle of winter, park cruise ships on Lake Erie, and like Jacksonville got one Super Bowl, and they had to literally bring in cruise ships to increase the capacity. Jacksonville, who's a Florida, like has all these beaches, all these resorts, couldn't handle, and that was before the Super Bowl is what it was now. Like the Super Bowl now, like in these destinations, and now that you have the Vegases and you're about to have Nashville have a dome, like Nashville's going to get the Super Bowl. Like now that you have these destination cities, LA, they love, like LA's already getting their second Super Bowl. The Niners getting the Super Bowl again. You're getting these cities that are going to, like destination cities. And as somebody that has to go around the Super Bowl every year, like Vegas was by far the best setup.
I've heard a lot of good things about Vegas. Even I'm shocked that, and again, not trying to get off on a tangent here, but the NHL draft I just heard, they did it last year there.
They did the Sphere.
Right, the Sphere. And, now this year or next year, they're like going, they're not even doing it in person or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they should do it every year. I was just there this past weekend. My buddy's the VP of sales for the Sphere, so he's a diehard Bills fan from Rochester area. And so I was at the Sphere and then was at WrestleMania Allegiant on Saturday. And I mean, Allegiant Stadium's the best stadium in the NFL. Like people say SoFi. SoFi, first of all, SoFi is not a full dome. Okay. People think SoFi, like it's open air. Yeah. And
I remember they had lightning there. Was
it's technically an outside stadium. Yeah. It wasn't the Bills game. It was just a random like night game where everybody's like, why is Monday Night Football delayed or whatever? It's a dome. It's not a dome. It's a covered roof. And Jacksonville's doing a similar thing where they're going to do like that covered roof with their renovations they're doing. And like it's open air. That first time the Bills played at SoFi, that Bills-Rams game, it was like 102 degrees out and it felt like a sauna in there. Like you're in a greenhouse and it was just humid and like it was built because most LA days, the breeze off the ocean, 70 degrees, whatever.
Until it's not.
Like they can't host like a Final Four because they haven't figured out how to like block the wind. You can't have wind coming through when somebody's trying to shoot a three. Wild. Like there's things that like if you're gonna spend $5 billion on a complex, maybe you should have just built the dome. Like and there's some sight lines there that aren't that great. Now I've been there 3 times where I've been like in a regular seat and it's like, this is okay. And then I've been like in like the 50-yard line club and you're like, okay, maybe it's decent. But like the premium seats are great. The like regular seats, like you have some weird scoreboard sites. And I think Allegiant's the best. I've been to all but 3 stadiums and I think Allegiant's like by far the best in the. But again, it's another thing where I haven't been to a regular seat there. I've been to club level. I've been to a suite. Like it's hard to judge when you're in the 500 level corner.
So moving forward now, I guess not only the new stadium, but like what do you expect with your growth of your business? I mean, is it just, are you naturally growing it, or are you pushing really hard to do even more cities?
We're pushing pretty hard. I mean, this year we're adding 3 cities this year, with Vegas, Detroit, and New York. So 4 teams, 3 cities because we have New York. We're also doing some test stuff in LA again. LA, I don't think is ready for us to do both teams for the full year. It's just kind of, but we should eventually have both New York and LA where you have the 2 team markets and you're guaranteed 7 NFL games. And like MetLife for us, we just launched our partnership there. And so we have like 40 something events at MetLife this year. And because every concert tour goes there, like Beyonce's doing 5 days. Zach Bryan's doing 3 days because it's New York City. They do 3, 4, 5 days. You get like 20, 30 concerts there. Plus, you get 2 NFL teams worth of games. This year, it's only 6.
I feel like the concerts are such. I mean, I know they're done at the stadiums, right? Like it's just a natural fit to go from sports to concerts, right?
Yeah, for us, I mean, we've grown a lot in the concert space. It's still hit or miss. Like there's certain ones, like a Tuesday, like Shakira concert's not selling like a country concert on a Saturday, but like it just kind of depends what it is. We throw a lot of stuff throw a lot of darts and just like, okay, let's just see what happens. Like we'll put stuff on sale. A month out, it's like, okay, 4 people bought this concert. Like it doesn't hurt. We have these venues and spaces. We have all the gear. We have the staff. Like let's throw something out there, and then we'll like the 4 people that took, we'll refund them. Be like, hey, if you want to come to another event, we got you. Like, it doesn't hurt to try, but like we're not going to host something for like 20 people and make it like it's just ridiculous for everybody. But some of these concerts, like this year, the soccer growth is getting crazy because this year you have the Club World Cup around America. Next year you have the actual World Cup around North America. And like those cities, like we're going to be doing like 11 out of 16 cities for the World Cup next year. In like we're doing both Toronto and Vancouver, and then we're doing Mexico City, and then almost all the American cities. So like the figuring out the soccer growth, but that's a whole different world of figuring out who are the, I don't know, Peruvian fans up here, who are the Brazilian fans, who are the like people from Uruguay. Like in like Spain, like and trying to find those fan bases. But we're trying to like grow into all these different spaces. Football's still the dominant force. Like nothing will ever be like the NFL and college. But
are you guys doing anything overseas when the NFL goes over there?
Yeah, so we have a Steelers trip on sale to Dublin.
Okay.
So the Steelers, we know the home cities for the teams. It's very possible it's the Bills playing them, but not public.
I have heard that the local politicians were pushing because of all of our Irish culture here in Buffalo.
Well, there's 8 international games now this year. Half the league's going international.
Sure.
You're going to go international every other year on average,
Yep.
and you're going to host every 4 years on average. It's just the new thing. When they added the 17th game, this was the plan.
Yep.
COVID screwed up a little bit of it because wasn't the travel demand, but like when they added that extra game, the whole plan was to eventually get to 16 international games, and that extra game is you're playing overseas. Like, because they want this growth. I mean, not this coming year, but next year the Rams are hosting Australia, so they're going to do an Australia game.
Wow.
Like this year, I mean, it's actually 7 this year. It was supposed to be 8 Mexico City stadium renovations that they're doing for the World Cup. Got delayed again. Like they're not done yet. So the Mexico City game's now on their like 3rd year of not happening. But there's 7 games this year. You're going to have like all these teams, and if you start to look at who the Steelers play at home this year, you'll realize it's Bills or Packers. Right. And if it's Aaron Rodgers going to the Steelers, they're not going to put Aaron Rodgers versus Steelers in Dublin. And the Packers also went to Brazil last year.
Okay.
So you start to like we look at it like, and we get leaked stuff together. And like we deal with a lot of these travel groups and away groups and stuff, and people have connections, and like we'll have 95% of the NFL schedule a day and a half before.
Sure.
Like just from putting pieces together, you're texting people, you're working sources, and then we're booking stuff and getting ahead of everything and like planning stuff
before the prices go through the roof of
hotel blocks, all that stuff for like some of the big games and things, and getting ahead of it and flights and all this stuff. And like we also like we'll have it we try to get as many of like our tailgates 8 p.m. schedule release. Like we try to have like launched and within air. I mean, like there might be a couple events that are off a day or two or time or something, but we get them up, and then once the actual schedule goes up, we go double check it. I'm like, oh shit, we missed this one by like it's a 4:25 game, not a 1 o'clock or whatever. But for the most part, like we have it like up without officially getting told what it is, like the teams are. So, but like it's fun to like kind of look at that. But you start to put the puzzle pieces together. Like we know like the Bills' opponents, all but 3 every year moving forward, and where they are. It's just figuring it out. So
where
like,
they are.
It's like 2026, the Bills go to Vegas, so the Bills fans will finally get to experience like Allegiant and everything that's there. Like you start to look at these. Like this year, the Bills don't go further west than Houston. So like if they do end up in Dublin, that would be like that huge destination game that's kind of missing right now.
That might be the trade-off, right? Like
you'll lose a easy trip to Pittsburgh, but you could have like a pretty awesome. And Dublin's like maybe one of my favorite cities in the world. Like Dublin's awesome.
My wife's dad is an Irish musician, and he also does like some travel packages. Like when he goes over, like he'll do tons of tours of Ireland, right? Like he's a dual citizen. So I think that might be on our radar. That like, hey, like, can you set this up for us?
We have the full we'll have the full trip package ready for this. Like it's not just the tailgates, like the full trip package for Steelers and whoever the away team is ready to go. So we have a travel partner that does it all. So like we have Joey Porter Sr. hosting the Steelers trips. When we did the London, we had Andre Reed host London with us. So we had like, I think it was like 450 people on the trip to London, but we had like 700 people for the tailgate in Tottenham there. And so with Andre, and Andre's become like a close friend. Andre's great. He's done 2 or 3 things with us every year now. Like
awesome.
He hosted our LA last year. I mean, that's an easy
because he's from San Diego, right? Or he
lives in San Diego
now.
He's from Kutztown, PA, but lives in San Diego now. So him, Stevie Johnson's a San Diego guy. You got
he's in Buffalo a lot.
You got some of these Bills guys that are down there in Southern California. But so we try to host these different players, groups, whatever. And so like, and this year we're pushing like a certain team that's going to end up in Madrid. I can't say publicly because it's not public. That's one of our markets. Like there's certain teams that you start to figure out, and like we're helping produce the Chargers trip to Brazil. So as you start to expand and do more and more teams and build up these networks, and we've transitioned from just being like the tickets drive all of our sales to we have kind of 3 pockets of, we have the ticket sales, we have the group corporate sales, and then we have our like sponsorship.
That's what I said in the beginning, watching your business snowball like year over year, the growth of it has been incredible.
The partnership sponsorship side is like the biggest area of growth, because it's, I mean, just our Buffalo social, like we build up these accounts for like the local, like we have Gameday Buffalo. Like it's easy to go after the like post about one city and like get them excited. If you post, when we post on the main game day, 90% of the people don't give a shit because like I don't care about this team or whatever. So it's like we try to create these localized accounts, and like our Buffalo social media now gets 12, 14 million impressions a month.
Wow.
So it's like we built up this audience. The email list is massive, all the stuff that we have these brands that are either the opposite brands of the Bills or who sponsors the Bills, or even some of the Bill sponsors that are our partners now. Because if you're trying to do experiential marketing on site, activation, product ellipse, as far as like alcohol brands go, you're not just like doing a quarter ounce sample at a festival and somebody's like, oh, that was pretty good, and they walk away. They can go keep grabbing a drink over and over and over again. So we have a lot of brands that work with us, and like the Labatt's and the Sandbaggers and some of these brands.
But you've got to be behind the scenes a lot, like running this, right? And relying on employees to.
Buffalo's become, I'm shaking hands and kissing babies most of the time. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes, but like a day of, I have my earpiece in, but I'm on a different radio channel now. I'm like, if you need me, I'm not listening to what everybody else talk about. Yeah. We have a good team here in Buffalo now, but like when I go to other cities, you're back in the grind of like making things happen and showing. And like I like to try to step back when I'm somewhere and watch how everything goes, because everything has to happen without you there too. Right. Like there's Sundays we have 5-6 events going on in 4 time zones.
But also being there, you need to make sure that you are shaking hands and kissing babies and being the
more we have sponsors and special guests and influencers and these people and these former players and stuff.
Because it is legit hospitality, right? Like
like last year we had like Doug Flutie came to the Niners game when he was a legend of the game, and we had kind of put it in Doug's ear like, hey, like you're in a band, you're a drummer, do you want to go play with our band on stage?
I remember seeing.
And when we got him there, we're like, and like his people were like, I don't know, and Doug got him there. He's like, hell yeah, what do they play? I was in seconds. But we like, you're taking care of people and stuff, but it's like we had like that was the biggest night game we had that year. We've expanded, and all of a sudden like our breakers are popping for power, and we're like, I'm like talking to Doug Flutie, and I'm like, come on, I'm like, what is going on? And I'm like, unplug all the fuck. I'm like, you're trying to like figure out. I'm like, we got to make sure the band, we're moving the band to other stuff, we're plugging in generators and stuff, and I'm like. You're like, but it was like a 10 minutes where we were just having like, it kept tripping for like, and we're like figuring it out. We're moving power other places. And I'm like, Doug, I'll be right back. And I'll be like, right back. I'm like, and he's like, no, do your thing. I'm like, you're trying to host, like we have Doug Flutie, we had Booby Dixon from the Bills. We had like all these different, like, you know, you're trying to like just have a conversation, and then it's just like everything just, and you're like, realize that like our main breaker was just a little bit too small for what and you improve it. But like we hadn't been at that point with that much power going with the growth. And our LED, like huge stadium, like we have like the big LED lights that light up the whole space. We hadn't dealt with that much power and the lights on.
A little bit of growing pains, huh?
Yeah, because like the Chiefs game 2 weeks earlier was bigger, but it was daylight out still during the tailgate. So we didn't have the lights on. So it's like you learn, you're like, okay. So then we like transitioned where like the band's always on generators and other stuff and backups and everything. So we never lose like the stage and the bands. And like we're trying. So, but you like learn, but like, yeah, there's always, you're waiting for that one thing to happen. And like I said, we're hosting 3, 4, 5, 6 events in a day sometimes. Generally where I am is not where the issues are going. Sometimes you're on the phone with this, that, trying to fix something going on in Kansas City or whatever, like, and it just happens. And but that's part of the like gig. And like this past year, I think the one Bills game where I was like very like had to keep like actually going back through the rhythm was that Bills Ravens, because we had 2 separate full on events. We had 1,700 Bills fans, we have 800 Ravens fans. You're going back and forth through them. And where they were in our parking lot, the Ravens tailgate, there was a pile of snow from like all the snow plowed into one pile. These Bills fans in the middle, I'm on our stage at the Buffalo tailgate, I'm looking towards where it was. These Bills fans had climbed the pile of snow, the mountain of snow, planted a Bills flag, started throwing snowballs at the Ravens fans. And I'm like, as a Bills fan, I'm like, that's awesome. As the person hosting the event, I'm like, God damn. I'm like, can we not do this? And so Jimmy's Famous Seafood from Baltimore was the ones that their tailgate, they were ones we were hosting, and I was with them in Baltimore a couple weeks ago. I brought that up, and they're like, "No, we thought it was awesome. like we'd like to go back and forth." Right? And I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, they're like, as the people hosting it, whatever. They're like, "We love that there was like the passion. People were throwing snowballs back and forth
until they get one to the face,
and you're like,
full of ice."
Yeah, and like that happens. Like, but like it was kind of funny how it was like, I'm just like on our stage, like we have a DJ going, and I'm just like looking over, and I just see these guys climbing the pile of snow. I'm like, God.
All of a sudden, Buffalo becomes Philly fans, right? Like.
Yeah, I mean, and Baltimore can be just as bad as Philly. Not to like trash our friends there, but like it can be pretty bad as well. Like they're not the nicest fan bases sometimes. Like there's always like the bad eggs.
Media, man, that playoff game was brutal.
The whole MVP.
Yeah. Oh, that was terrible.
It was Lamar versus Josh, and if you said anything bad about Lamar, they came after you. Like Josh Allen didn't deserve it because this, and like
I think you got 2 sensitive cities just going up against each other.
The 2 MVPs he won, Josh had better stats, but then now stats don't matter.
I get
or
it.
now stats do matter.
Right.
So like, it was just like this whole thing, and it's like the back and forth. And I was born here, but like ended up moving south. I lived in Virginia most of my life. So I became an Orioles fan as a kid because I was like, it was Nationals didn't exist, and so I was Orioles fan. So it's weird that like I'm a fan of one of the Baltimore teams, but then you're like looking at Ravens fans, you're like, what the hell's going on here?
I always question when I see Bills fans that are
Red
like
Sox fans,
that or Bruins, and I'm like, how
Celtics?
Yeah, like, you're like I can't wrap my head around it. Right?
I get it. Like we don't have baseball here, but like. Yeah, the Red Sox, like,
but when we do,
Bruins
is the
like
Sabres have been brutal, but like I get, I understand they're bad, but right?
Yeah, and I've never understood that. Like, it's like, okay, these massholes are the same people.
Right.
It's like people you hate.
Well, and I see, we've got a lot of Mets fans and Cleveland fans, Toronto fans here because, the Bisons were all affiliated with them throughout the years.
And what's crazy though is the TV market is only Mets, Yankees, because they have all of New York State. So you can't watch a Blue Jays game on TV.
Right.
You can't watch an Indians game on TV. You
Right.
can't watch a Pirates game on TV. Even those are all half the distance or less than the two teams you get on TV. So just like how the MLB lines are drawn, so like in Charlotte, in North Carolina, we get Nationals, Orioles, Braves, and Reds are all local teams.
Yeah,
and like. But the networks aren't always carried where you live. It's like I'm in Charlotte. I'm an Orioles fan. I can't watch the Orioles unless I have DirecTV.
Right.
Because like the local network doesn't have enough demand to carry the station that carries the Orioles and Nationals. So they just finally released a streaming service that like when you're in the market, you can watch it. Because even with MLB TV, it's blacked out because you're in the local market. There's just a funny thing today. Apparently it was $89.99 for the year to watch all the Orioles or Nationals games. And they accidentally charged people $8,999. Like it released yesterday, and a lot of people's cards got charged and woke up to $9,000 charges. They forgot the decimal point when they charged everybody, and it was like a huge thing on Twitter this morning. But apparently they accidentally charged everybody $8,999 instead of $89.99, and that's gonna be a tough thing when the refund doesn't hit this weekend. All these people
that's
like when it comes in like Monday or Tuesday back to your card, and people that are like just trying to watch the Orioles and are middle class or whatever, and get your card charged $9,000 or your bank overdrafted, or like imagine like your mortgage doesn't come out or something or whatever's coming out like because they accidentally charge you. That's gonna be a big like PR mess.
Yeah, that's wild. John, we're running out of time.
Yeah.
Why don't you plug all your businesses and your websites?
Yeah, so Gameday Hospitality, we do events, and right now we have 12 NFL cities we're doing this year. A lot of different events, all the way up to Super Bowl, Final Four, all that stuff. So follow Gameday Hospitality. You can follow Gameday, almost any city, Gameday Buffalo, Gameday wherever. We have some events coming up. We have draft party tonight. Obviously, this won't be out, but we have the draft party. We have the George Strait, Chris Stapleton concert coming up in June, so we'll have that. We're gonna have Morgan Wallen. We're doing the tailgates in Cleveland and Toronto. So if people are going to the Morgan Wallen concerts in August, we'll have in September. We'll have those as well. And then if the Bills do end up in Dublin, we will have that on sale with a pretty. If we get the guy we want, I think a lot of people are going to be excited. Maybe a certain former Irish quarterback we're trying to get. So if that happens and he's hosting a trip for Buffalo fans to Dublin, I think people are going to be enjoying it. So there's a lot more to come, but yeah, check it out, and everything's growing. But yeah, get your tickets. I mean, we have season passes for the tailgate too, where it's like the price of 6 games and it includes the playoffs. Like, so it's like
that's incredible.
So it's like you could get 10, or this year we have 9 home games. It's the price of like 6.5 games, and then you could have 2-3 playoff games. So you might be paying half price all year, and you can transfer them too. So you can buy it for the season. You can't go to a game, just like your tickets. You can transfer to whoever.
I love your mind. I love the way that you're building business and growing. And like I said, watching it grow over the last few years, it really has been impressive. So thanks for being on the show.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you. Go Bills.
Go Bills.